Welcome to Fat Tony's. My name's Joshua Landi, and this is my barbershop. I'm here with my other apprentice, and we are appointment only with walk-ins Wednesday to Saturday. When I was a kid, 15 to 18, I used to have a big curly afro, and it was very hard to get the haircut that I wanted. Okay, I was going for a taper with the back and the front and keeping the length on top, and there just wasn't that many people that could pull it off. So I used to try and cut my own hair.
Yeah.
And even though my haircuts were terrible as well, I really enjoyed it. So I just ended up just cutting hair in my spare time, and I genuinely thought I could do it as a career. So
Okay.
basically,
Did it go on to like family and friends as well when you started cutting everyone's hair?
I just started cutting everyone's hair at home. And just slowly built up a passion for it, and I did get a bit sidetracked with an apprenticeship in other careers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I eventually came back to it about 2 years ago. So
Okay. And then how does it look like with training and getting the necessary certificates and stuff like that? Did you have to go through like school and proper training or?
Yeah. So in Australia, you can do the course full time at TAFE, or you can do an apprenticeship. Obviously, in Wagulga and Coffs Harbour, there's not that many options. Back in 2017, the certificate in barbering didn't exist till 2016. So everyone prior to that had to do hairdressing through an apprenticeship, or they either just taught themselves. So with the barber's course being fresh and new in 2016, you got a bunch of barbers out there that aren't qualified, and anyone else who is qualified has gone and done hairdressing in a hair salon. So it was actually a pretty big challenge to get to the point where I had a certificate in my hand and could legally open a shop and do all that stuff. So basically, long story short, I just did the course full time in TAFE because my options were limited, but also it was there's just no availability to get an apprenticeship around here. So my goal was just to go and do a full time.
Right.
That's how I did. That's how I got my certificate. But if you can cut hair, you can cut hair.
Sure.
The only difference is having the piece of paper allows you to do everything legally and to have apprentices and do it properly. But there are plenty of people out there that don't have the certificate. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother many people, but
as long as they can cut hair.
it doesn't matter. Like, you can cut hair, you can do it.
Sure. Yeah. But I guess it helps having that official certification. I guess it adds to, your to the value of the business, and people maybe trust you a little bit more as well if they know that you're, professionally trained rather than just self-taught. I don't know if that's the case.
Sure, 100%. There is a credibility there. Like, same thing with any other trade. You always assume that the paper has some credibility.
Is there a difference? Is there a big difference between women's hairdressing and men's hairdressing in regards to the qualifications? Is there more that you need to do to, let's say,
so I like to tell people that the difference between the two of them is mainly the barbers have the expertise with the clipper.
Sure.
And the hairdressers have the expertise with the scissors. However, if you want to be a good barber, you need both.
Right.
Yeah, you can't just you need to be good at scissors and you need to be good at clippers as well. Because basically what ends up happening is, like back when I started cutting hair, you didn't really see that many mullets or anything.
Right.
You didn't see longer hairstyles very often. It was back then. It was all high skin fades. This is like back in Conor McGregor era, like UFC. Everyone's got real high skin fades.
Yeah.
So coming into coming into 2021 and 2020 with COVID-19, basically everyone was at home. So you didn't get the choice to go to the barbershop as often as you did. So everyone basically ended up growing out their hair and having longer hairstyles. So you got all these longer hairstyles now, and if you don't know your hairdresser, then you can't do it. So you need that. Same thing with clothing. Like you see baggy clothes now, and that's a result of being locked away at home.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because everyone's wearing like skinny leg jeans and really tight clothes.
Yeah,
and then once the pandemic happens, everyone gets locked away inside. So we start purchasing like baggy clothes and Same thing with the hairstyle. That they change all the time. You should be able to do both.
It's almost like an element of comfort, and not really caring too much perhaps how you look. I'm not focusing on it all the time, but like, I have to have the perfect clothes, or I have to have the perfect haircut, so it's changed people's perception, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. I think men are starting to care about their appearance a lot more than they have in the past. And it's obviously social media.
Sure.
Mainly, I'd say. Social media. Social media.
Yeah. Social media's changed a lot of things for a lot of people. That's true. That's true. And then after you've got your qualification and you started taking it a lot more seriously, how this place come about? What how did it all kind of evolve?
I was doing my course full time, and while I was doing it, I was just about finished. But towards the end of it, I started cutting hair out of my garage, and basically most of the people showing up were my friends, neighbours, and people that knew me from school. I genuinely was just doing it just for fun, and also just to bring in a little bit extra cash. It was like I had no intention of opening a shop, like zero intention of opening a shop. But it just took off to the point where I was so busy, and I was almost making more money doing the garage work than my part-time job.
Right.
So it just made sense to me to take over and do this.
Yeah.
You just slowly work your way into it.
Yeah.
Fat Tony's was not something I had in mind until it, I was just more focused on having fun and making a bit of extra cash.
So it was never like a conscious decision to, all right, I'm gonna study this, I'm gonna open the shop. It's just more of a extra work hobby on the side.
Yeah, it was just a side kicker, man. It wasn't a goal that I had like that in concrete. It was something that just kind of came as I was doing it. So
wow. And then obviously starting in the garage, that was garage at your house. Did you have people coming over to see you there? And then kind of you started, envision your little studio and the setup that you had in there. Was that like the very beginning of it when you were like, okay, I can take it from the garage and I can move it somewhere else and make it bigger?
Yeah. The main reason for coming down here is I was under the impression that that so many more people would come if it wasn't at my house.
Sure.
Because the reality is, like, you wouldn't. There's not many businesses that are going to work to their full potential from someone's house. There's always that thing of if he's working out of his garage, he must be shit, or he must be like not qualified, or there's always those questions that the consumer asks themselves.
Yeah, it's got that kind of startup vibe about it.
Yeah, the weirdest thing is, like, I would never go get a haircut from someone in their garage. But prior to starting that garage business, like, that was my mindset. I just thought, I genuinely was surprised that people showed up. Like, because I would never get a haircut for someone in their garage, which is like hypocritical. But that's seriously what I thought. Like, I just thought, if they're cutting their hair out of the garage, they must be terrible. But people showed up. So I just I'm just so glad that everyone was happy with their haircuts and and had so much support from the locals. So also a bit lucky as well, Not everyone has that kind of support from their locals.
Yeah,
Like
I
if
think
you-
having that community support it was a big factor.
Like
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being raised in a city or something, and then you don't have that small town kind of
Yeah.
support. Like whereas here, everyone from school knew about it.
Wow.
So yeah, it just took off.
That's awesome. I never actually realized that you had that much support from the local community. That going and seeing you, and then coming back and seeing you again, and kind of grow into this. When did you move into this place here? When did that actually happen?
So this was at the end of 2023. I decided to move in a week before Christmas.
Nice.
So
peaceful and quiet timing to do it all.
And it was sort of like a race to get in here as well. There wasn't many spaces in this hometown, so I had a fear of missing out. I was trying my hardest to get a space. I felt like if I didn't get this space, it wasn't gonna happen at all. And there was a good chance that it might not. There's not that many spaces around here that was at this price. We're at the location as well. I really like the location. So it was bad timing to get in, but I just did it anyway. And when I started, no air conditioning in the summertime, no insulation in the roof.
Yeah,
it was a shithole.
Tough to start with, but obviously you made it better and you continuously improved.
Yeah, so originally when I started, I basically just copied and pasted my garage setup into here, and I did all the tiling on the floor myself. Painted the walls, like me and my family. Some friends helped me with the walls, like painting and stuff. But it was a very, very basic setup. The TV on the wall is actually my bedroom TV.
Right.
So it wasn't. That's what I used to have at home in my bedroom. These mirrors are just secondhand. I just spray painted them black. Like a lot of the benches and the chairs and everything. The original, I just had a second-hand chair. These two chairs here, that they came later on. But just starting out at a very basic setup, and the goal was always to get it to like this level. This is, in my eyes, this is like a modern American style barbershop.
Right. Okay.
This is like the look I was going for in the end. Yeah. But when I started out, it was it still looked like the garage setup. In here.
Yeah.
So, and what I'm seeing in here is basically I moved away to Brisbane shortly after finishing school in the 10, and while I was up there, I was able to buy a house. But basically, what you're saying now is a result of selling my house.
Right.
Yeah. So I started cutting hair at home on myself and some friends, just for fun or whatever. This is at the age of 16 or 17. I leave school. I moved to Brisbane. Long story short, I was a manager at Woolworths. I ended up purchasing a home.
What did you do at Woolworths? What were you doing at Woolworths?
I was at Carindale in the Westfield Mall in Brisbane. So
that must have been so different.
Yeah, it's the busiest Woolworths in Queensland. I don't know if that's still true, but
at the time
it's pretty flat out.
Yeah. Wow.
So I feel like that's probably did help with the management side of things, like in here.
Sure.
And just as a business, being a manager at Woolworths definitely helps. But
yeah,
basically what you're seeing in here now is a result of selling my house. After the pandemic, I sold the house, and I decided that I'm just going to have a crack, because I was in the garage cutting hair, and it was going well, and I was like, I want to start this business, but I didn't quite have the money, so I just sold the house.
Yeah. Big commitment for sure, and definitely risk, that you had to take to, selling your house, an element of like comfort and security and everything.
Yeah.
To then go in and do this.
Yeah. The thing that always gets you is everyone is told, the house is the dream, and you got to get the house.
Yeah.
You keep the house, and you keep it, and you don't sell it, and you just hold on to it for the rest of your life. So with that in the back, that's always in the back of your head, because that's what, your family, that's what everyone in Australia has in mind. Everyone thinks that's like the general consensus.
Ultimate, the
Australian
dream, you got to buy a house.
However, the house was so expensive lately. It wasn't making me any money. It was basically breaking even.
Yeah.
But if I sold the house and did this was going to fulfill my life a lot better. Because your full-time job is every week, every day. It affects you on a daily. Whereas a house that you can't live in or whatever you're renting out, it does help you. But I feel like what you're generally passionate about and what you want to do, I'd rather have a full-time job that I'm going to enjoy till the day I die than just a house. So I decided to basically trade the house for the business.
I understand.
But obviously I did some other things as well, but
yeah. And then obviously with this being successful and, making your money, you can always go back to buying another place,
100%.
And you can use that as your asset as well. And, and potentially will make your repayments in the future even lower,
Well, that's the goal. I'd like to get one maybe in the future, but generally not too fussed about it, really. Like I was really, when I was younger, I was really fussed about getting a house. I think once you get one, you realise it's not what you think. It's not as big as a deal as I thought it was.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Like I had a fear of missing out with the house as well. Like I thought if I didn't get it, after getting one and selling it, just it's not the same.
Yeah, for sure. And so you sold your house, you invested your money into this place, and what do you think was the hardest thing, and what was any challenges that you had to that you came across during that period of that big transition and opening this place? What do you think was like the biggest challenge? Is it staffing? Is it actually, is it getting people to come here and letting everyone know that you're here?
The biggest challenge probably would have been like the repetitions. Like definitely right up until now. So it's been probably almost a year.
Yeah.
Just about a year of 7 days a week.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I finish it like I'm doing most days. I'm doing 11 hours, 10 or 11 hours. So that was the hardest part. Not really going out as well. When you start a business like this, if you want it to work, you have to be available all the time.
Right.
When you're starting out, you might not have a fully booked out week, so you have to take on extra days to make it all. Pay the money to pay everything, and I felt like the hardest challenge was just the mileage, like the amount of like hours and stuff.
You're sacrificing your time, you're sacrificing your social time, maybe a little bit of your friends. And
the other thing too is it's a whole different learning curve, because you got like Google. You got to sort out if you don't know anything with Google, like there's so much to learn with Google marketing.
That's right.
Like local, making sure you're showing up in the top ranks of Google.
So you've got your website set up and everything, and obviously that will be a big part of people actually being able to find you. And I'm in the area, I just type in barbershop.
I started that in the garage, learning how Google works, the algorithm to make sure that your business shows up first.
Yeah.
That is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
That's already a big learning curve there. Learning how to make your own website.
Did you make your own website?
I just use Squarespace, but it's still like a whole editing process. You have to get photos, put it on the website.
Yeah.
You got to connect Google Maps. You got to connect all these things.
Yeah.
The appointment system for the barbershop was actually a pain in the ass. So it's just a whole set of new things you have to learn on top of opening a business.
Yeah.
All the risk. So like every day, you're thinking about all of this, but then you think about all these other things that you got to get done and learn how to do it. Quite a tax is another one. Yeah, but the tax is a pain in the ass.
It always is, I think, for everyone.
But I'd say the most challenging thing would be the learning curves and the repetitions. I haven't been able to take days off until now. Not seeing friends and family, missing out on events all the time. That's going to be the hardest thing, for sure.
Big sacrifice.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And getting a apprentice on, do you think it can release some of that and take you away from the business? And maybe now you've got an apprentice, do you feel like you will have, or you already have more time to then, okay, I can just step back a little bit, have some more time to myself, but also just focus on the business as a whole, rather than just, always cutting hair and being, with your customers. Has that improved anything, or do you think it's even more work now because you have someone else that's working for you?
Yeah. Like when the start of having another worker is always going to be hard. Because there's a learning curve for them. So you have to teach them how to cut hair, and that's a long process on a day. So you end up taking a bit more work initially, but it's more of an investment. So in the future, that will pay off. Right now, I'm taking days off. And something I did notice is if you're cutting hair all the time, and you're not actually taking days off to think about how you're going to grow the business, you actually start falling backwards.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
okay.
Because you think it's counterintuitive, because you think that working all the time is gonna it does make you more money, but it sort of doesn't.
Sure.
Because if you're working 7 days a week, you're not on the computer thinking about ideas of how to grow the business, or thinking about different business models, or even just browsing the internet, looking at what other people are doing. On that spare time. Because you're learning stuff that you could be doing better, being more efficient.
Yes.
When I started out, my schedules were really inefficient. So you're not going to be able to learn this stuff if you're just cutting hair all the time. You have to take time off.
Yeah.
Like that's something I've learned.
It's a constant improvement.
You have to take time on. You're never going to be able to get these things done where you got to sit down and have a good think about what's to come next.
Is it hard to not be in control all the time? Is that something you have to deal with?
Yeah.
Battling, battling with yourself.
Yeah, especially with having another worker in here, it's so hard to let them just obviously you want the quality to be good, and you go and check on it, and I do, but to let go of some aspects, it's hard. Yeah. And just some days, like when you do have a day off, let's say that you're generally not doing anything that day for the business, and it's a proper day off. The days that you're having off, someone else is working. Someone else is working on the business.
That's true.
So it just feels like, it's a never ending thought process.
Yeah, you always be thinking about it. You can imagine when you try to have a day off.
It doesn't help me because I'm a stressor. I overthink all the time. So it's hard for me to take a day off and not think about the business.
Maybe especially at the beginning, it's let's say you've been in this space for 12 months. Maybe you'll need another 12 months to kind of get better at removing yourself, for wanting to be in control all the time. And then your apprentice will also get better, and you can trust him more.
100%. Yeah, he's already getting there. We put 3-4 months already.
Yeah.
So we're getting to a point where Patrick is, he's great. He's doing really well. Yeah. And I reckon not long now until I'm hands off.
So looking at the near future, it doesn't have to be, years in years ahead. What's the plans? What's the kind of the next thing that you want to do in here that will, create a big impact? I know you've done something with your editing system where you now can have repeat visits. Is that what it is? Like,
Yeah.
So let's say you can just set it up so every 2 weeks you just come back in. Is that
Yeah, so that's something that I didn't realize you can add on, but this is all a part of the learning the booking system. But basically, yeah, you can book people in repeatedly now, automatically, so you don't have to remember to book in. What happens is I'm booked out a week ahead usually. In the holidays, it's worse, but for my regulars, let's say that most people don't remember to book in, that by the time they remember to book in, it's too late.
correct?
So
I do it all the time.
on the week, they pull their phone out, they need a haircut. And let's say you got something on this weekend, like an event or a wedding. You pull your phone out, you check on Tony's, and I'm booked out for the week. No matter what your personal relationship with me is, you're going to have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to push for is try and get people to set up. I know not everyone's going to be able to do it. Trying to get people to set up repeated bookings. So that way you still get your message reminders and your emails, but you just won't have to remember to book in every 3 weeks.
Right.
It will automatically, you'll have your place there.
I mean, that's awesome. I think that's the best thing ever, especially if you get your haircuts done all the time on a regular basis. Then you're like, okay, if I can just remove that element of thinking about it every time, I can just, let the booking system.
Yeah, just let it be.
Easy.
And then with Patrick doing the walk-ins, trying to cover both areas. Not everyone has a schedule where they can just walk in all the time. So I'm trying to do both.
Yeah.
Okay. But for the future of this shop, ideally, I'd like to get 3 people in here cutting hair, including myself.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll say the options of opening up another shop.
Wow.
Yeah, done that.
You know what I've looked into the other day? I saw mobile barber business idea thing that's floating around, and I saw it pop up everywhere on social media. People with fans and people, you're going to someone else's house and doing it for them. I don't know if that's something that's
it's exploding at the moment.
I'm curious why. I mean,
I genuinely think in Australia it's exploding. I don't know about the rest of the world, but I feel like it's to do with how late we've come into the barbering scene. So, for example, 2016 was when the certificate 3 for barbering, it didn't exist before that. There was no certificate. Yeah. So you got so most people didn't. They taught themselves how to do it, but you can't really get a legitimacy to it.
I had no idea that was the case.
Previously, in the past, in Australia, it's just been all hairdressers, which is fine, but it's not the same expertise with the clipper that the rest of the world has, Yeah. So I feel like that could be a part of it. It could be the fact that the certificate didn't exist till 2016.
Yeah.
And not many people wanted to go work in a hair salon to do men's cuts because they just wanted to be a barber.
Yeah.
The other thing, I reckon, is social media. 100%. Yeah, social media changes everything.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Every 5 minutes, someone pulls their phone out and they're looking at all these haircuts that everyone else has got.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it. You need a haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the name itself, Fat Tony's? Where did that name come from?
You told my grandfather, Tony Capizzi, is from Italy, and he was fat, so
Fat Tony.
I just named it after him, Fat Tony. Yeah.
Fat Tony's. Yeah.
I wanted a different name because everyone always calls it like the Barber and Co. or the Barber something, brothers, or it's always a Barber something. I wanted something different,
Yeah.
Every barbershop has the same boring name. I wanted something different.
Yeah. And I think named it after your granddad is great. It's almost like a memory to him as well in that sense. Which I think is cool. If people want to find you, what's the best way to get in touch? And is it through your website, or let's say I'm Woolgolga, what's the website and social media and stuff like that? Is it
Instagram? Would be the best way.
Yeah.
You're going to see most of the haircuts on there.
Yeah.
But if you're an old timer and you don't like using Instagram, just Google, man. Yeah,
Let's go.
Fat Tony's Barbershop.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you,
Same for Instagram, Fat Tony's Barbershop.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, nice. Thanks, Josh.